I never figured I'd wake up one fine Texas morning, coffee in hand, and end up locking horns with a woman who treated the HOA like it was her own private army. But that's exactly how my little slice of suburbia turned into a war zone. And it all started with an old Cessna I'd kept tucked away in my hangar, just minding its own business, not hurting a soul. Picture this. The sun's barely up, air's got that crisp bite, and out of nowhere, a beat-up tow truck starts creeping down the runway, not even trying to hide its intentions with the driver, twitchy chain-smoking, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else, and right beside him Queen Susan herself. You know, the type, arms folded so tight you'd think she's holding herself together, neon green visor perched on her head like some twisted crown, and that look that says she's about to make someone's life hell. "Mike, that rust bucket's an eyesore," she snaps before I can even put my mug down. Her voice, carrying clear across the hangars, violates every community standard we've got. We're hauling it for scrap. End of story. Now let me tell you, my heart just about stopped right there, because that plane wasn't just an old hobby. It was tied up in a whole federal investigation after a mechanical scare had me drifting too close to restricted airspace. The kind of thing you don't just walk away from, you know what I mean? Susan didn't care, though. She saw my airfield as some kind of threat to her precious vision of suburban perfection, like a weed sprouting through the sidewalk she thought she owned. I laugh, couldn't help it, and I tell her, "Susan, you're about to tamper with evidence in an active FAA case. That Cessna's tagged, logged, and under watch." She gets all smug, says she checked the records herself. No registration, hasn't moved in months. Community voted. It's out of here. That's when I pull out my phone, fire up the app the feds made me install, and wouldn't you know it, the little red beacon on the plane starts blinking like Christmas, logging every move, pinging the authorities. Susan's face drops. You ever see someone realize they've stepped in it deep? "Yeah, that happened." She mumbles something about me bluffing and peels off in her golf cart tires, kicking up gravel. But I knew right then that was just the opening round. Susan wasn't the type to lose gracefully. Next day, my hangar locks are cut, fresh scratches on the doors, and a bent bobby pin left behind like some calling card. And there she is doing her morning parade with that ratty little terrier of hers, Max, circling my place, eyeing my security cameras like she's waiting for me to slip. I wave, play it cool, but inside I'm boiling. This woman who'd only been here 5 years since her divorce, built her whole identity on policing mailboxes and tattling on backyard barbecues, just desperate to matter in a world that left her behind. Then comes the city inspector anonymous tip about flammables too close to homes. He pokes around, finds nothing wrong, but as he leaves he winks at me. "Ticked off the wrong person, huh? Trying to scrap a federal tagged plane, bold move. All I can do is nod." But the hits keep coming. Next day, there's a bright yellow sticker slapped on my truck for unauthorized parking in my own driveway. Then I catch her teenage son, Dylan, on my security cam, skulking with bolt cutters by my door before my floodlights chase him off. I print the footage, tape it to the hangar with "Smile for the Feds" in big letters. When Susan sees it, she hisses, "You're threatening my boy." I just sip my coffee, deadpan, just documenting in case you get any more creative with community safety. She ramps it up, sends in a salvage crew with a forged work order. Her name scrawled across it. Wrong address, no city stamp. They're measuring the wingspan when I walk up, camera rolling, and say, "Gentlemen, that Cessna's under Federal Order 8-3B. You so much as touch it, you're in for a long day." Sure enough, my alert system goes off and boom, a pair of black SUVs roll in, badges flashing. Agent Harlan and his partner step out. Harlan's calm, all business. "Ma'am, I'm with the FAA. This aircraft's evidence in an active restricted airspace breach. No one moves it without federal clearance." Susan, red-faced, tries to argue. "It's junk. I filed the paperwork." Harlan cuts her off. "Forgery. No jurisdiction. This isn't HOA turf. It's federal." She threatens lawyers, but I step in. "Go ahead, Susan, but I'll counter for trespass theft attempt, sending Dylan to break in." Let's see how that stacks up. They show her the tampering logs right there on the agent's tablet. Every move, every time she so much as looked at that plane, she sputters, says it's faked. Harlan shakes his head. Encrypted. Not going anywhere. Susan hisses at me as she storms off. This isn't over. All I can do is grin and say, of course not. Restraining order next. And Dylan's little field trip, sending that to the feds too. A couple days later, I get a cease and desist letter in a sparkly envelope accusing me of violating noise rules, fire codes, endangering the community fabric, signed by her friends who live 2 blocks away. I dig in, learn Susan's been whipping up the neighbors, spinning stories about hazards and ruined values. But really, it's just a grudge from when her ex used to fly left her high and dry, and she decided every pilot had to pay for it. So I compile every scrap of evidence, video, forged papers, inspector's notes, and send them off to the sheriff, the FAA, the airport lawyer, even pitch the story to the local news. They love it, cameras everywhere, me showing off the blinking tag, explaining how a near miss with a drone almost leaked defense data. The segment airs that night, and wouldn't you know it, Susan's golf cart ends up in the community pond, floating like a warning from the universe. Next thing I know, her HOA lawyer calls, all weary, offering to settle quietly if I drop the claims for an apology. I just laugh after all that I tell him I've got an FAA interview lined up. Susan can tune in if she wants. But Susan, oh, she's not finished. I wake up to find scrap flyboy spray painted across the wing dents like someone went at it with a crowbar. By now, I'm numb. Her campaign's gone from annoying to straight up dangerous, born from loneliness and twisted into a crusade. So I hit back, file a lawsuit against the HOA for damages and harassment. Premiums skyrocket, board members panic. Local news comes back for round 2. Now it's HOA tyrant versus the feds plastered across the screen. Then Susan sues me for endangerment, claiming my toxic leaks are giving her dogs anxiety. She rolls into court in a white suit, Max in a therapy vest, rambling about ghost noises and oil seepage. Judge looks at me. I just shrug, plane's dead. No leaks, no noises. Susan lives 2 blocks away. Max sleeps like a rock. The judge actually laughs, tosses her case, but that just makes things darker. A week later, my mailbox is smashed in tire ruts all over my lawn, and one rainy night, someone leaves a pile of oily rags smoldering by the hangar. Fire fizzles out, but I'm rattled. That's when I decide it's time for the ace up my sleeve. See that Cessna, its probe didn't just fail over any old field, it was right over a defense site. There's data in that black box the feds aren't talking about, and I know they want it kept quiet. I call my contact. The next morning, federal vans roll up, agents in full gear. They extract the black box, go through my files, and the lead agent asks, "You want to press charges for tampering?" I hesitate. Revenge or justice? But I nod. They serve Susan at her door, catch her in curlers, and this time there's no one cheering for her. She rants online, but support crumbles. FAA publishes an advisory. Her name's all over it. Board members resign, audits begin. Her empire folds. Her house goes up for sale, escrow frozen. Now, here's the kicker. The twist nobody saw coming. I'd quietly bought the airfield land from old Earl, the war vet who owned it months ago. Every inch of it, including the private road Susan and her cronies use for their golf carts. I post a notice, ownership transfer, trespassing rules in bold, whole neighborhood buzzes. Susan storms up, waving papers, screaming about humiliation. I just sip my tea, calm as you like. You did that to yourself, Susan. From now on, you need my waiver to cross. Otherwise, it's criminal trespass. She turns pale, rages about community ethics, but behind her, inspectors are marking property lines, her leverage vanishing like smoke. I use the settlement cash to clean up the airfield, new paint, better cameras. Host a big wings over, neighbors fly in for the kids. Pilots swapping stories, banners, waving as the sun sets over the old Cessna, now christened Susan's Folly. I'm standing on the wing, drink in hand, watching everyone laugh, just soaking up the peace. But sometimes I wonder, was I too harsh? Did I really need to turn her world upside down? Or was it about justice, finally clipping the wings of someone who spent too long bullying their neighbors? Ever had an HOA nightmare or seen someone's power trip blow up in their face? Drop your story in the comments. Where's the line between standing your ground and going full scorched earth? I want to hear your take. And hey, if you like real life twists like this, don't forget to subscribe.